Today's episode of Variant is brought to you by lynda.com.
Today on Variant, I give you the history of sAlGhul. Welcome to Variant. We love comics more than Superman is scared of green rocks. I'm your host, Arris. As all of you know, the mid-season premiere of Arrow was last week, and sAlGhul has become a big part of the show, so I'm sure lots of you would like to know more about his comic book origins. And since that's what I do best, I'm going to break down his history and tell you all you need to know about one of the best Batman villains of all time. sAlGhul was created by writer Dennis O'Neil and artist Neil Adams. He was introduced in Batman issue 232 in June of 1971. Given his high status as a supervillain, he has also come into conflict with Superman and other superheroes in the DC universe. The character's creation and depiction was inspired by other works of fiction, such as the 1969 James Bond film On Her Majesty's Secret Service and the Fu Manchu fiction. Now, before I go any further, people are always arguing about how you pronounce sAlGhul's name. Is it sAlGhul or is it sAlGhul? Well, if you want to go by the great Batman writer Paul Dini, it's sAlGhul, which he made known in an episode he wrote for Batman Beyond the Animated Series.
Very thorough, Terry. Though father's name was pronounced Raish, not Raz. A common mistake.
But if you want to go by other forms of media like the Nolan Batman films, it's sAlGhul. Pretty much what I'm saying is both ways are acceptable, and I personally use both ways, which you might notice during this episode. But let's get into the character's comic book roots, starting with his origin. sAlGhul's real name, early life, and exact age have been portrayed differently by various writers, but his post-crisis origin story is told in the graphic novel Batman: Birth of a Demon. sAlGhul was born 700 years ago in a tribe of nomads in one of the Arabian deserts. When Raz was young, he became fascinated with science, but due to his nomad tribe, he was unable to study. Raz decided to leave his tribe and move to the city where he could study science. He became a physician and then quickly married the love of his life, Sora. Later, Raz discovered the secret lair of the Lazarus Pit. When a sadistic prince was dying, who at the time Raz didn't know was sadistic, Raz tried to save him by putting him in the Lazarus Pit. When he emerged from the Lazarus Pit, it caused him to go completely insane, and the prince ended up killing Raz's wife. The king would convict Raz for doing something to his son and sentence him to a slow and torturing death in a cage with his wife's corpse. Raz was eventually set free by the son of an old dying woman who Raz tries to save but was unsuccessful. Raz was devastated by what had happened to him and his wife. He decides to take the son of the old woman, and they went to the tribe where Raz was born. At the tribe, Raz asked his uncle, who was the leader of the tribe, to help him guarantee the fall of the king. His uncle would agree, and they began plotting against the king. Raz was extremely knowledgeable with germ theory of disease. His knowledge on it was far more advanced than anyone else of that time. With that knowledge, Raz would contaminate some fabrics and send it to the prince. The prince became sick, and the king would seek Raz for a cure, but Raz denied him and killed both the king and the prince. He then sends his tribe into the kingdom, and they proceed to kill everyone inside it. Right afterwards, Raz would declare himself the Demon's Head. Raz also had a daughter named Talia. He met a woman that was mixed Chinese and Arab, and afterwards, Talia was born, but her mother soon died after her birth. Raz began to travel the world with his uncle, daughter, and the boy who saved his life. While in London, Raz catches the boy writing about the Lazarus Pits and about his whole life in their language. Raz engages in a fight with him to stop him from writing and kills him in the end. When he returns to London, he discovers that his uncle had stolen all his historical records. Raz continues his journey and eventually becomes a master martial artist and also became a great fencer. He also gains a mass amount of wealth through time and starts creating organizations to rid the world of crime. His first organization was called the Demon. The League of Assassins is a branch organization of the Demon. To give you a better definition of the League of Assassins, though, they're an ancient army of killers led by sAlGhul. Many of the greatest martial artists and mercenaries in the DC universe have been members of the League of Assassins at some point. The League of Assassins has also been known as the League of Shadows or the Society of Shadows in adapted media. Raz is an eco-terrorist, and his purpose with the League of Assassins is to eliminate all evil in the world. He concludes that the only way to do so is to destroy all humanity and start all over. Which is one of the many reasons I like sAlGhul so much, because he's a villain, but he's also kind of not. He wants to destroy humanity to get rid of all evil so that the world can start again and be a better place. Now, clearly that's all sorts of crazy and insane, but his intentions aren't bad. But regardless of his intentions, he is still absolutely crazy for wanting to kill off humanity, or even just most of it. So being the eco-terrorist that he is, it gives him a bunch of run-ins with Batman, since he's primarily a Batman villain. Raz has had many plans over the years to destroy the world. One includes his organization unleashing Ebola into Gotham City. He has also allied with Bane and also thought of Bane as a possible heir. However, Talia disliked Bane's brutish criminal personality. In JLA Tower of Babel, Raz beat the entire JLA when he discovers Batman's notes on how to take down every single hero. He is defeated but was able to get Batman kicked out of the JLA. Now that's a brief overview of sAlGhul's origin, but since I'm talking about sAlGhul, Ghul, I have to mention his daughters. That's right, daughters, as in more than one. But first, let's start with his most known daughter and the mother of Batman's son, sAlGhul. When Talia began falling in love with Batman, Ra's began to consider Batman as a possible heir for his organization. Ra's decides that he must find out the identity of Batman and was able to deduce only a rich man would be able to afford and buy the equipment Batman uses. He learns that Bruce Wayne is Batman and was able to locate the Batcave. He soon after offers Batman to become the new heir, but is denied by Batman, stating that his plan is genocide and he will not be a part of it. After Batman declined to join Ra's, he made Batman his mortal enemy for defending a corrupt world. Flash forward quite a bit, Talia al Ghul became the mother of Batman's son, Damian Wayne. It was revealed in the Batman and Son storyline that Talia al Ghul had drugged Batman one night out somewhere in the desert and had her way with him. She then became impregnated with Bruce Wayne / Batman's child. But rather than carry the child for 9 months and give birth like a normal woman, Damian was grown in an artificial womb to make sure he was genetically perfect. After years of training from her in the League of Assassins, she captured Batman and revealed she had a son with him, which she was now leaving in his care. Talia and Batman have had many confrontations over the years in the comics, but have also had many romantic flings, hence her being the mother of Damian Wayne. Ra's al Ghul also has another daughter, Nyssa, who most of you probably know from her appearance on Arrow. She is the half-sister to Talia and was the love child of Ra's al Ghul and a Russian woman. It is revealed that Nyssa was born when Ra's al Ghul was traveling in Russia. There Ra's met Nyssa's mother, and shortly after, Nyssa was born. Her mother would tell her romantic tales about her father, so Nyssa grew up interested in her father and became determined to find him. Nyssa was able to track her father at his headquarters in North Africa. When she showed up, Ra's instantly became impressed with her beauty, intelligence, and how she was able to find him. He offered Nyssa a high-rank position in his organization, to which she accepted, and Ra's would trust her enough to allow her to use the Lazarus Pits. Nyssa was also the one who discovered a way to reuse the Lazarus Pits over and over. Eventually, Nyssa did not like her father's ideal and method, so she decided to leave his organization sometime in the 19th century. Ra's thought that she would someday return with children and take his place, but Nyssa had other plans. Nyssa refused to give Ra's a family for possible heirs to his organization, which resulted in him disowning her. She would eventually be killed by Cassandra Cain, but that's enough talk about Raz's daughters. Let's talk about his powers and abilities. Ra's al Ghul is a superb fighter. He has had centuries of training and practice, making him nearly a match for Batman himself. Through the use of Lazarus Pits, Al Ghul has been able to prolong his life considerably and can also transfer his soul into other bodies through ancient rituals. Via prolonged use, the pits have given him enhanced strength and agility. His mind is also naturally inclined towards science and analysis. For example, he was one of the first human beings to understand germ theory. He is an excellent strategist and tactician. Over his centuries of existence, Ra's has amassed an enormous amount of information, resources, and wealth, which, as we all know, equals power. Now, this was just a brief summary of Ra's al Ghul's history over the years, so clearly I left out some stuff, as it would be impossible for me to mention every single aspect of the character who's been around for like 40 plus years. But everything I did mention is the main highlights you need to know. Although there's one random little tidbit I didn't mention that I do want to mention real quick, which is how Ra's always addresses Batman as detective. I personally have always loved it just because it sounds cool, and he also says it out of a form of respect for Batman's intelligence and brilliance. Random, but I just wanted to mention it because I like it. But now I want to give you guys some reading recommendations for Ra's al Ghul. You have Birth of a Demon, Son of a Demon, Batman Legacy, The Saga of Ra's al Ghul, and JLA Tower of Babel. Also, not a comic, but you should all watch the Batman animated series episodes, The Demon's Quest Part 1 and 2, because, well, they're awesome. And if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can stream all 4 seasons of Batman the Animated Series on your iPad, computer, or Android device with the Amazon Instant Video app. So if you didn't know that, you're welcome. Lynda.com is an online learning company with more than 77,000 video tutorials that teach software, creative, and business skills. Memberships start at $25 per month and provide an unlimited 24/7 access to top quality video courses taught by expert instructors with real-world experience. Learn anytime, anywhere, and at your own pace, from bite-sized tutorials to comprehensive courses in web design, program design, photography, business, audio and video, 3D, and animation. And you can learn on the go with their optimized mobile site or free iPhone and iPad app for members. Try Lynda.com free for 7 days by visiting lynda.com/variants and get some knowledge in your brain. First up for Wednesday, January 28th is Uncanny Avengers Issue 1. From the Ashes of Axis, an all-new different Avengers assemble. Here we have Spider-Man 2099 Issue 8. Spider-Man 2099 and Lady Spider must reunite with the rest of the Spiders in time for the final battle against the Inheritors. Now we have Arkham Manor Issue 4. As if Batman didn't have enough trouble containing the Spider in Arkham Manor, now he has to contend with Mr. Freeze. Next we have Deathstroke Issue 4. Slade's journey into his past takes an unexpected turn, leading him to Gotham City and Harley Quinn. And finally we have Batman Batman issue 38, Endgame Part 4. The Joker is back and attacking Batman in a way he has never done before. If you want to see just how amazing the Joker can be, check out the storyline. And that brings another episode of Variant to a close, but remember, you can always like our Variant Facebook page to keep up with the show and all things comic related. And you could also follow me on Twitter if you so wish at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I shall see you guys next week when I talk about all things comics.
Arris, big fan of the show. Batman, best villain, the Riddler, and then the Joker, of course.
Hey Arris, my favorite Batman villain, I know it's really cliche, but the Joker.
So the obvious answer would be to go with the Joker, but for me personally, I think sAlGhul is a better villain because he can challenge Batman on an intellectual level. And to me, he did something that just sets him apart from every other villain. He brought back Jason Todd. That puts him beyond anything the Joker's ever done, which includes killing Jason Todd.
My favorite Batman villain has got to be the Scarecrow, because only a villain like him could actually be real, and it's terrifying to imagine a world with him in it.
So Arris, my favorite Batman supervillain would have to be Bane, because he is not only very powerful in strength, but he's also very powerful in intelligence, which is a deadly combination for Batman.
Our favorite Batman villain? That's an easy one.
Harley Quinn!
What's up, Arris? I gotta tell you that my favorite Batman villain has and always will be the Penguin.